everybody, it's me, Luna TK, and today I'm finally releasing a video that I have been working on for literally forever. Most of you guys here know me as Luna TK, and most of you guys know me as the big Miraculous fan, since that is mostly what appears to be on my channel at this point. But today, I just figured I would share a little bit more about myself with you guys. Hi, my name is Teresa, and I am 25 years old. I am a pet mom to two amazing little adorable animals, which are always featured in my little channel logo here, my chibi me. My favorite colors are yellow, blue, purple, and pink. And I am married to the most amazing dude on this planet. Back in 2015, Andrew asked me to marry him, and I have been wanting to make a video about this since then, but I just haven't yet. But finally, at long last, for our 2-year anniversary, I decided it's just time to release my Moon Princess Bride vlog. Full disclaimer, this video may have spoilers for Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal. If you have not seen the series yet, what are you doing? Go check that out, and you'll be able to understand this video a lot more. Regardless, you may enjoy this video because it will tell you how to have a fandom wedding, and I guess really the only way to start this is by telling you a little story. Ever since I was a little girl, running around in the backyard yelling at attack phrases and making popsicle stick and paper wands, all I ever really wanted growing up was to be a moon princess. A lot of little girls dream about being Cinderella or some other sort of princess type fairy tale. For me, it was never a question. I always wanted to be Princess Serenity. When I first met Andrew, I was a young, silly, dorky teenage girl, much like Usagi, tripping over myself and, you know, my awkward usual self. I fell head over heels over a dark-haired boy on a motorcycle. He was charming, he was smart, very level-headed, and even knew karate. Sounds familiar, right? Not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons I fell for him. At the beginning of the Stars arc in Sailor Moon, Mamoru gives Usagi a beautiful heart-shaped ring. It's essentially a proposal scene. Now, when Andrew and I first started dating, he actually got me a replica of the ring, which I absolutely loved and adored until it inevitably broke. So, flash forward a few years later, and he knew it would mean a whole lot to me if I could have another one. He took it one step further and designed a heart-shaped design of his own. He then took me to Bolt Castle on Heart Island, where he popped the question. And yes, despite the fact that he tricked me into recording my own proposal, I was completely and totally surprised. The castle was this beautiful place with all these little heart-shaped designs everywhere. I'm pretty sure that even Usagi would have approved. It meant a lot to me that Andrew included something that was so important to me growing up. And I was super excited to finally live out my dreams of being a moon princess. It should come to you as no surprise then that when the big day actually did come, naturally it was going to be a Sailor Moon inspired wedding. Not just because of my huge fangirling of it, but also because he was in support of it, and also because our love story was very similar. So, here comes the fun part. The planning. I mean, I may have had a full Pinterest board full of ideas of my future hypothetical wedding, but when it came down to it, I did ask myself, where do I even begin? So, I started with the basics. I started with the color scheme, the mood I wanted to portray, and of course, the people I wanted to be there. For me, I wanted to have a Sailor Moon inspired wedding without having the entire rainbow of colors of all the Sailor Senshi, and all the Moonie weddings I'd seen had all done something different. In my case, I decided on a yellow, champagne, and a navy blue. Growing up, I'd always loved the painting Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. But I mean, who can really be surprised by that? Come on, it's even featured in the opening credits of the original series. Besides, on the internet you can find pictures of Batman with the painting for Andrew. Yeah, let's go with that. For my big day, I wanted to capture the mystical, ethereal, and romantic feeling of the Silver Millennium, so I drew from images such as these, as well as this beautiful picture I found on Pinterest. I'll include the link to the artist in the description below. Sailor Moon is a series that you can actually pull a lot of inspiration from when trying to create a Sailor Moon inspired, well, anything. There's the obvious moons and stars, but there's also a lot of hearts and bows, and there's the whole Art Deco thing, and roses, and there's obviously a ton of sparkles. So anytime that I tried to look for anything for my wedding, that's kind of what I would try to look for. After I figured all that out, I figured the next easiest way to include Sailor Moon in my wedding was to choose my fonts and monogram and have it kind of be inspired by it. So I did exactly that. I chose the fonts from the manga and the new Viz dub because it was swirly and elegant and even had the eyes dotted with stars. Nobody'd really know unless you're a, well, crazy obsessed moon face such as myself. So I added a moon, and I made two versions, one with our names and one with just our initials, for smaller things. Andrew and I decided that we wanted to come up with a special way to ask our friends to be in our bridal party. So we had a little bridal party proposal, and we got little gifts for them. I got little stemless wine glasses for them, engraved by somebody on Etsy, in either the Sailor Moon font for the girls or a more Art Deco style for the guys. And on the back of the glasses, it had a crescent moon with our wedding date in it. Each one of my bridesmaids represented a different Sailor Senshi, and each one of Andrew's groomsmen represented a different DC superhero, with the exception of my brother, who preferred Spider-Man. I just tried to match the personalities of my bridesmaids to a corresponding Sailor Senshi. So we gave each of them a little card with their respective hero symbols on them, put their cup in a box with a little ring pop, and tied a bow, and gave them their proposal boxes. For my flower girls, I did something a little different. They also got a little card, but with some sparkle and some different colors, and I made them little decoupage boxes with Princess Serenity inside and some goodies that they would enjoy. Once we figured out who our bridal party was, we started working on the save the dates. Now, I may have started working on those before we even had our engagement photos to put in them. For that matter, we didn't even have the dates yet for our wedding. But basically, I started working in Photoshop, putting down like a background, like a pretty starry background. And then I just started laying text down and plopping in where I wanted my pictures to go, putting basically just some stock photos in there to have it ready to go. Initially, I had been looking to do 5, 6, 17 because hello, that's a super fun date. But the venue that we initially wanted didn't have that date available, so we ended up going with June 10th. I got the save the dates printed as magnets through Vistaprint because after all the hard work I put into them, I might as well give them something they will be less likely to throw out, and something that is semi-practical. And what do you know? A few years down the line, I still have friends and family that still have them on their fridge, even though the date no longer needs to be saved because it's in the past. For our engagement photos, I decided I wanted to have our session done in a place that reminded me of Sailor Moon somehow, or the Moon Kingdom. And there was this beautiful garden place that wasn't too far from where we were, and just from seeing pictures of it, I was like, oh my gosh, there's pillars and there's flowers, and it reminded me very much of what Prince Endymion's kingdom looked like. And it just felt perfect. In the manga, Princess Serenity tends to wear a white flower in her hair, so I decided to do that as well. We wore our wedding colors, and I got these beautiful earrings on Etsy that kind of reminded me of something that Princess Serenity would wear, and she made me this beautiful necklace to go along with it. I got this cute little sign from another person on Etsy who wrote "Save the Date" on it, but in the Sailor Moon font. And it ended up looking super cute. My bridesmaid, Pluto, had done a lot of the graphic design when it came down to the end of it. She made our wedding programs, which came out amazing, and then I sort of just hand cut them and bound them with the help of a few friends. And she also made my beautiful wedding invitations. They had the starry background and the bows. And yes, even the stamps had the Silver Millennium on them. I ordered them through Shutterfly. My Saturn and I made little wax seals to glue on top of the envelopes. They had little hearts on them. Now, here comes the most exciting part. Dress shopping. And surprisingly enough, I found my dress on the first day we went out shopping. I had a very specific look for how I wanted my dress to be. And I wanted my dress to be something that was kind of reminiscent of Princess Serenity without it being a full-on cosplay. Now, Princess Serenity's gown is long and flowy and airy and elegant, and it's got some detail up in the top. So for me, since I knew exactly what I wanted, I was not quite sure how long it was gonna take to find the one. A lot of people have a hard time finding their dress when they know exactly what it is that they're looking for. So I was surprised that I found it on that very first day, but it was so special since I had almost all of my girls there with me to celebrate and to see it. And it was dress number 8 after trying on multiple dresses that I was not quite comfortable in. I found the one. My dress was a fit and flare type gown with all the sparkle and the jewels in the top, just like I was hoping for. And then it went down and all out in a ton of tulle. And the finishing touch was when we found these beautiful little sheer cap sleeves. And we put them on, and at that point, I teared up, and that was it. That was the dress. And they had me make a wish and ring a little bell, and it was super exciting. For my veil, I just wanted a one-tier, simple veil that would just kind of drape over and be really elegant. And that's what I ended up finding, with just a little bit of sparkle on the edge.
Try not to cry.
For my bridesmaids, I wanted to have them in a navy blue color, and I wanted to figure out a way that it was not only a dress that they could wear again, but also something that would be somewhat reminiscent of a Sailor Guardian. So we ended up finding these beautiful little vintage cocktail dresses, and pretty much at that point I was like, oh, if only they had a bow. Well, surprisingly enough, all of my bridesmaids were skinny enough to be able to fit into the little bow sashes for flower girls, so we ended up going with that. For my flower girls, I ended up going with something a little different, a kind of blend between my dress and theirs. They had the more detailed top and the tulle bottom, and they also had a bow on theirs. The last few months leading up to the wedding ended up being really crazy, whether it was bridal wars with my friends, which was an event that was going on locally. Our team name was Buns and Guns. I wore my hair up in Odango just like Usagi does, and I designed the shirts. Basically, we just battled other bridal teams for different prizes. It was a lot of fun. After that, we basically just started kicking into high gear and planning all the final details for the wedding day. We basically just started making things and mailing out the invitations. Probably one of the most impressive things of our wedding day was our first dance. Initially, Andrew and I decided that, hey, I want to do a little bit more than just the whole arms around each other and sway thing. No, we wanted to do something a little nicer than that. So we ended up just taking some adult continuing education classes at the local school, and from there, well, our awesome dance teacher ended up turning this into a huge choreographed thing, and our bridal party joined in a flash mob in the second half. And I'm actually super surprised that they went along with it, but I am super grateful that they did. And what's really impressive is that 2 of our bridal party members weren't even there until the day before our wedding to practice. Going along with the superhero theme, Andrew and I gained magic powers at the end of our part of the dance, and then we all joined along together and danced to Bonnie Tyler's Holding Out for a Hero. I'm still thanking our amazing bridal party for that. To be honest, I incorporated so many Sailor Moon details into my wedding, but the one thing I didn't have to think about was the people I would have beside me. Like the Sailor Scouts did for Usagi, they each supported me and gave me strength in different ways. Each one of my friends really is like a different person on my team, a different Sailor Senshi, and I am super grateful for that. I always told my friends that they kind of were like the stars in my sky, each one unique, and each one serving a different purpose in my life. I think that's another reason why this wedding theme meant so much to me. I had my energetic, thoughtful, strong Sailor Jupiter, my confident, passionate, honest, and fiery Sailor Mars, an intelligent, analytical, and dependable Sailor Mercury, my playful and supportive Venus, my sweet, benevolent, and persevering Saturn, a compassionate, sensible, and trustworthy Sailor Pluto, and 2 adorable mini-moons who, between the 2 of them, have enough creativity, spirit, and spunkiness to go around. Honestly, I wouldn't have wanted any other people by my side. So, on the morning of our wedding, I gave each of my bridesmaids and my flower girls their gifts. Engraved hangers with their respective senshi bows glued to them, monogrammed robes, and pearl accessories I made with Art Deco stars. I wrote each of them a letter about how much it was that they meant to me, and together we put our robes on and started getting ready for the day. It was all these cute and special little details I made that helped make the day even more magical and fun as we got our hair done and makeup and just played around. And since I made a lot of these things, it made the day even more special because these things were all one of a kind, made with love, and sentimental.
Who are you?
At long last, it was finally time to put my dress on, and all of my accessories. I had my pearl earrings that probably Princess Serenity would have liked since she wore a lot of pearls. My something old was a bracelet that my grandmother had let me borrow. It had like beautiful little blue sapphires in it. My something new was my garter, which had these beautiful little flowers on it that kind of looked like stars, and they kind of matched my shoes. The throwaway garter had a Batman symbol on it, and the other one had a crescent moon on it. My something borrowed was a rosary that had been my friend Madeline's before she passed away. Her 2 younger sisters had actually put that in a pocket that was in the back of my dress. My something blue was a heart necklace that Andrew gave me a few years back, kind of thinking of our wedding in mind, which was cool. And lastly, my shoes were these beautiful little flats that had pearl stars on them. And well, I had flats because it's me, and I didn't really want to trip down the aisle on my wedding day. Speaking of walking down the aisle, here I was, a little nervous, as expected, but very excited and super happy to be marrying the best guy ever. Of course, I did need something important.
I gotta grab my wand. Where's my wand?
After all, what better way to give a moon princess some courage other than her amazing Sailor Senshi team to give her their strength?
I need your power, guys. I need your moon power.
Before getting into the limo, Andrew and I read letters that we had wrote out to each other beforehand. Needless to say, it was an emotional moment.
He used my full name.
So here we are, Finally, the wait is finally over. After an enormous amount of preparation and hard work, this crazy, special, incredibly monumental day has arrived.
I love him so much.
Love always, Teresa.
Aww.
Oh, that's nice.
It'll have nice minty breath.
In honor of my mother-in-law who was battling cancer, the bouquets had sunflowers and daisies, her favorites. However, you can find these flowers and other similar ones in manga artwork as well, and each one of us had our respective senshi symbol pinned to them. They were perfect for a June wedding.
They're getting married in June, and they say marriage is that month. They're supposed to be lucky. Then they'll be happy for sure.
The ceremony itself was a traditional Catholic ceremony in the church where I grew up, but I did find some ways to include Sailor Moon, which I kind of got the idea from ShojoPower, and so for the Unity candle, I purchased these beautiful little crystal holders for the tapers that looked just like the Imperium silver crystal. And of course, the candles had bows on them. And for when we left the church, I made 150 crescent moon wand favors for them to all wave as we left the church. I made myself my own crescent moon wand, except I made mine a little fancier with a little bit more ribbon and a little bow, and I may or may not have accidentally walked down the aisle with that. My flower girls had crescent moon wands as well, but theirs were in pink. As you could see, my bridesmaids had their respective Senshi's Star Wand versions of these. I actually did a live stream a while back when I made these for them, which I'll put a link to that below. The reception venue that we chose not only had amazing food and a really good sized ballroom, because we had a guest list of about 150 people, but it had these awesome pillars that were great for a photo opportunity. It really did make me feel like a princess. And the best part is that I was able to have the Prince Endymion I always wanted to have. When it comes down to it, I could have married Andrew at the courthouse. He could have proposed to me with a ring from the gumball machine and I still would have said yes. At the end of the day, all that really matters was each other, the marriage we were beginning. We just got to express a fun part of ourselves along the way. We got to share the things we love, with whom we love, and it was truly an incredible experience. In my opinion, weddings are about bringing everyone together for a special moment to celebrate love, life, family, and commitment. We were oh so blessed to have been surrounded by all the people that we loved. So, a quick Sailor Moon says for you. Scatter your solar system with fighters, dreamers, doers, believers, thinkers, and protectors. Find someone who will not only be your princess or Prince Charming, but someone who will fight beside you in life. Someone who's your teammate, who is your equal, and will encourage you and give you strength when times get hard, who never gives up on you. Find someone who respects you and believes in you even when you don't believe in yourself. That person is out there. And to you, Andrew, my real-life Endymion, thank you so much for all that you do. I love you so much. Happy anniversary, Mr. TK. Until next time, my name is Luna TK, and I hope you have a awesome day. Bye!